Hello again, friends. Thanks for coming in. It's Miranda Jean. Today, we're going to be talking about spiritual growth and the kingdom of God. What did Jesus mean when he was talking about this kingdom of God? Well, okay. So we have this beautiful passage. It's a parable that Jesus taught when he was here, and he was talking about the mustard seed. And this is in 151:4-2. It says, after the people had asked a few questions, Jesus spoke another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like the grain of a mustard seed, which a man sowed in his field. Now, a mustard seed is the very least of all seeds, but when it's full grown, it becomes the greatest of all herbs and is like a tree, so that the birds of heaven are able to come and rest in the branches thereof. All right. So I chose a snow pea because that's one of the things I'm growing right now. That's a snow pea. There is nothing about this little seed that makes it incredible. It's kind of like a rock. It's not going to do anything. Okay, it's just going to sit there until I follow the instructions of the Father's way of nature, and I begin to do what I'm told to do. Now, what's happening in this passage? Jesus, his method is simple. He's telling us we are like this little seed, okay? And our minds are like the soil. We're talking in spiritual terms here, but our minds are like this soil. When we put the seed inside the soil, and of course, we would cover it up, all right? And then we do all those things we're supposed to do. We put it in a place where there's good water, drainage, moisture, sunshine. Something begins to happen inside that seed. And what starts to happen, it's like really ethereal and crazy, because it begins to change. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know, but in spiritual terms, it begins to change and grow, and we did nothing. We cannot make that seed grow. God does that, but it begins to open up, and it nourishes on these elements that God provided. And it begins to grow on its own until we get actual little seedlings and little plants that grow into food that we can eat, or flowers that we can look at. But we have to follow what he said to do. And Jesus said, you're like this little seed. Now, if we just look at that seed and we say, okay, there's the fact of that seed right there. That's a fact. Is that thing going to grow because we say it's there and it's real? Nope. Just because we say things about Jesus, we say things about truth, or we say things about this book or this revelation, it doesn't mean anything. We're just factoiding. We're just saying things that it's just knowledge. Jesus is telling us here, let's get that beautiful passage back. Jesus is telling us here, if you will be like this seed, and if you will seek first his kingdom, if you will put yourself in your mind in favorable conditions for growth, if you will go to the Father, if you will have childlike faith, if you will have a pure and trusting heart, if you will seek him first, then he will cause you to grow. He does the work, not you. We're just the little child in his arms, in the spirit realm. We're just the trusting baby. And when we go to him and we say, Father, please, will you grow me spiritually? I want you. I'm seeking you. He dwells within us. You're not God. Look around you, what's happening in the world. Oh my goodness, we are not God. We are the ones who need God, who dwells within us. The seed by itself, as a fact, does nothing. But when we obey his rules for spiritual farming, where he does the work and we trust him and have faith in him to grow us, Jesus said we can become like that little grain of seed that becomes a tree. People, we need to spiritually, with the help of God, grow.